Oh yeah, we're back. Future Balls with Nathan Waters
and Tristan Grace.
Spinning balls and a bingo ball machine and pull out two ideas, combine them together and add a third one later.
And we've got... Oh, shit. They all just fell out. Okay, cool. We've got three. I'll look at the first two, and then we can add in the next one. We've got decentralization. Fuck yeah.
Ooh.
I like that. And social credit. That's brilliant. They're the first two balls.
The Chinese social credit thing, is that what we did?
I guess so. I mean, we can interpret it however we want. Hey, it's like having a social number. Yeah. Okay, well, first off, I think, holy shit, social credit needs to be decentralized. That is one of the most core important things that needs to be decentralized out of anything. Having one central authority be in charge of a point that determines your social value. Fucking nasty.
What could possibly go wrong with that? And especially if you had a country where the leader has a he basically can never be voted out. What could go wrong with that?
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Nothing could go wrong with that. Oh man, I would love.
The case like President Winnie the Pooh, he can't get voted out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he made that.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. I haven't actually dived deep into their political system, how it works.
It works better than everything else, but it's authoritarian.
Yeah. Well, they tend to be pretty good for a while, those authoritarians. And then something happens.
30-year timelines rather than 4.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'd love to actually know how the Chinese social credit system works. Like, I'd love to talk to someone who's used it, like see what it's actually out there, because I feel like we're fed a lot of propaganda around it, but it'd be cool to see like the actual specifics, because I had heard it actually compared to the like the American credit rating and stuff. That's kind of similar to that. And I was
yeah.
Okay, that's kind of interesting. You just tack on a few other things.
Yeah, like we've definitely heard all the negatives of it. Like, isn't there something where like, oh, you credit goes down if you hang out with people who have anti-government views?
Yeah,
like as bad as that. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, so I guess maybe going it from like a positive perspective, say if it was decentralized and you did actually have a point system associated with your socialness, like I struggle to think of how it becomes super positive. Like how you, like being known as a good citizen, or like apart from having a credit limit, how does it benefit the individual over the superstructure, the state?
Yeah. It's maybe the positive angle could be something we've spoken about before, of like having like social media algorithms that try to improve your own life, like your own little personal machine learning algorithm that basically tries to guide you into directions to fulfill your own goals.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Maybe you just add the extra layer where it's like, rather than like pure self-interest, which can always lead to bad outcomes, that it somehow is like finds the right balance between like self-interest, guidance, but also collective social benefits.
Well, that's a really good point, because it's kind of like another signaling mechanism, kind of like with money, but with more of the community-focused activities, ones that you can't really put a price on. So like, gardening around, or, like helping out the elderly and stuff that needs to be done, but that isn't rewarded in a monetary sense. So that could actually be a pretty cool way to do it. That's done decentralized.
Yeah.
It signals to the individual, hey, look, you want to get some more social credit, go into like we really need people out teaching, ethics at primary schools or something. There's a lot of need.
Does it end up in a way where it's like you earn social credit to then fulfill self-interest?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Maybe you earn like 100 social credit for like helping an old lady cross the road, and then you use that to go buy a new pair of shoes. Is it as fucked as that?
I guess that'd be the issue. Hey, if you actually linked it to the financial system as well, then that could be brutal. That would be bad. Yeah. Because again, people
it needs to be like two parallel economies somehow.
Yeah, and because what you could do is sorry, I just had a bit of a mind blank there. But again, like it being a signaling thing for, say, charities and stuff, because people still want to do that. But again, I feel like we're just not allocated in the right way. There's all this human potential people want to help out and do things. You see it pop up in a lot of like forums and stuff, but there's no way to just say, hey, cool, where can I be best help? And at least with money, you can say, hey, look, there's a whole bunch of profit to be made here, so people jump up and do it. So if that's decentralized, like, holy shit, make that properly decentralized so you don't have one central authority fucking dominating that, because holy hell, they could just dictate exactly what they wanted to happen. It has to be decentralized. Please let it be decentralized.
Yeah. It's like, even if you decentralize, it's still like, it's like a collective behavioral manipulation versus like a top-down behavioral manipulation.
Yeah. But that's money anyway.
If you had like individuals kind of signaling to each other what socially beneficial citizenry type things they want to see happen in the world, and then that converges people around those values to make that happen.
See, that'd be freaking awesome. Yeah, because like individually you could say these are the things you want to see out in the world. These are the improvements you want to see happen. Like, maybe that's how you could actually spend your social credit, by actually doing lots of good around the community. You can actually say what else good around the community you want to have happen. And so like, I'm thinking of things even like just now, like I go to parks all the time with my son, and it's kind of like there's always lots of rubbish around and stuff. And I put little bits in, but I can't tidy up the whole park. It's massive. But like, doing bits and pieces. But if everyone kind of did that together, and, that was kind of known, no idea how that would be not gamed, but still.
I can go out there and drop the rubbish ahead of the time for you, and then you can go and pick it up.
Honestly, then you record it and you get the negative points for dropping the rubbish. It goes real stick instead of carrot. It starts beating you with a bad credit. You drop any rubbish.
Snitches get stitches.
Oh man. Okay, let's slide in the next ball. It is Femto/Atto tech. Ooh.
Fuck.
Holy moly. Okay, well, this is cool. We're going way beyond nanoscale. We're going to the bare bone basics of the universe.
So like social credit systems applied to civilizations operating at the Atto level.
Fuck yeah. Okay, I like this. This is really cool. Well, yeah, let's go like...
do you remember where we first heard that idea?
No, do you?
That's why I added it in there. Hugo de Garis back in 2011 or something, Singularity Summit, like the OG Singularity Summit.
Yeah.
And he talked about how you could there's no like apparently no law in physics that prevents you from. Well, no, it's more the idea that you can compute at like a femto or an Atto level, so you can do like actual like Turing complete computations at that level. So then therefore you could like effectively simulate entire like civilizations inside of like quarks.
Fuck.
And then his trippy thought from that was that was it that could be a solution to the Fermi paradox, is where are all the aliens? And it's like, well, they've just they've basically gone inward so far that they're now computing at a level that we just perceive as nature, as physics.
I fucking love that idea. I really, really love that idea.
Trippy as.
That's how the new universe gets built, right? Like once all of the universe is turned into like computronium, like the densest possible computation, what they're computing is the new universe. And then the people, the things inside that universe then start self-organizing. So you got shells upon shells upon shells upon shells of universes.
Does that mean every time we smash particles in a particle accelerator, we're just destroying like entire civilizations?
We're really pissing them off. We've got...
We just want to fight. We just want to say hi, guys.
Oh, man. Well, I guess if you got to a pure computation-based society, I wonder if you would have, say, like, parallel economies happening there. Because I'm not sure how that would be allocated, like how it would just decide what to compute, how it would decide what to work on and do. Like, if you would have, like, say, money or an economic system to allocate it that way, or if you could do like social credit would you have like individuals that are actually kind of thinking? I think we've spoken about this before, but I'd lean towards more of the individual thought rather than having a big one single control because of just the speed of light. Once you actually have like between different stars and different aspects, you can't have one thing in control because it's just a fundamental part of the universe that you can't actually transmit information that fast. So it'd have to be decentralized. Yeah,
and that's interesting too. That like you think of how like that's more or less how our global economy developed. Like we obviously started on little islands with our own little like distinct, isolated bubble economies and value systems and cultures and all that. And then with like communication, we've now like turned that into a global system. But in that process, we had to like create bridges. So even like the simplest version of like, a value bridge between currencies, like currency conversion. But then the problem is the moment you start doing that, you end up with this like homogenous value system, which I think that has some benefits, but also has like a lot of negatives that come along with it. Because it means that everyone has to operate under the same system. Like even today, like, the entire world is basically run by money. And like, good luck trying to create an isolated economy that is not controlled by money today. Yeah. And that like that limits our potential opportunities of what we could be doing and how we could be operating as a species, as a computational civilization. So I wonder, like, even if you go out and you have like, say, the Mars colony and the Earth colony, like, okay, yeah, they could operate as two independent economic systems, but they're still going to have to bridge the two. And then you got to wonder, like, does that bridging then diminish the potential for variations to evolve? Because now you're still like forcing them to operate under the same value system.
That's a really good point. I wonder if there's a way to encourage
play out with crypto as well.
It was, yeah. Well, yeah, I wonder how you could encourage that kind of their own economies or own points or systems, signaling mechanisms that are not connected to the current system. Because that'd be a good way to, test out all this stuff. Because, I mean, it's highly unlikely that we've found the most efficient way to allocate everything.
Yeah, it just works.
Yeah, it just works right now.
Kind of. Until Jeff Bezos ends up owning everything.
Oh, man. I don't know.
I wonder that with crypto, like the crypto space is all, everyone's exploring their own little economic models. But I almost think that because everything's like, is fungible the word? Like everything's tradable. Like, and I think the moment everything becomes tradable, it all operates under the same like, uniform value structure. But then it's like, it means like, oh, you might have developed some like beautiful economic system, or even just communication platform or social platform where there's tremendous amounts of value being generated in there. But then if your token's worth less than some other token in a different platform, then therefore you're valued less. And it's just like, what the fuck? So it just like, it diminishes all opportunities for variation. So I wonder, how can we like solve for that?
Yeah. I thought I'd often had is thinking of computer games and like the economies that they run in there, and you have like online multiplayer games, and they tend to come down very harshly. Well, some do at least. If you like go and sell things outside of the system. So like maybe it could be something like that you have your own game, essentially like your own system in there, people are playing, but you make it you get incredibly penalized if you ever get traced back to doing illicit bridging, essentially, with the current system. And then if you actually made it more than just a game, actually doing something of value or worth, that could be a way to actually explore that. If bridging, which I do feel like bridging is the issue here, connecting it to our current monetary system does actually, it means people start just chasing that.
Yeah. And it often comes back to the idea of like, oh, well, there's that example of like, well, it's a bit shit if I can't if I earn all these tokens or whatever in this system and I can't pay rent with it.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But I wonder, like, maybe the simplest option of that is maybe we have like the housing economy, and it's like, okay, well, if you have to like do something of value in that housing economy to earn the tokens to then pay for your housing. And then when you want food, you go and do that in the food economy, and then you do that to get food.
That's a cool idea.
But somehow structure that in a way where it's not like, it's not super compartmentalized as much. You should be still, I don't know, providing value to different economies and whatever, and playing different games, but it's just like compartmentalized a little bit like that. So it's, if you have a need, you go to that economy to get that need fulfilled.
Hells yeah. I like that. So it's kind of, compartmentalizing like all different industries and stuff, and making them their own little isolated thing where they can innovate in their own way, their own token, their own form of money or something. If you only had one bridge going out, maybe you could limit the effectiveness of how much it could interact with the giant monetary system. I wonder where you could go further with that. If you could start your own like little, it's kind of like how some towns and stuff have made their own like currency.
Yeah, like mutual credit type stuff.
Yeah. So doing that with industries and focusing on that when you actually work inside that industry, say you get paid with that, and that allows you to, have all these other perks and stuff. But maybe they trade really badly with the broader sense, but they trade really well inside that. Or I think there'd need to be something else with it, because then you just have people coming in and like buying it all, right?
Yeah. Buy up all the housing tokens.
Yeah, exactly. Another way you could go with it is you have them all as their own self-sustaining little things. So like we were saying before that it sucks when you have to go and pay rent with these tokens, but say if that system ended up buying a whole bunch of houses and well as like, buying up different lots of food and things like that and allowed it to just stay within their own little system. And that could really start flourishing now, because I know the US was massive on cracking down on all of that back in the day. They did not like all of the competing currencies popping up. And I mean, that's why Bitcoin took off to start with, because, couldn't actually be shut down.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see a resurgence of all those old ideas popping up.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think every time you add a bridge in between, it makes sense to add a bridge in between different things, but like as soon as you do that, it's just like
it creeps in, it gets you.
Like even if you did like an Addo level civilizations, and each of them are operating inside little quarks, it's like, okay, well the moment you like bridge those two, if you bridge two different civilizations, it's like boom, they're just going to like homogenize into a little network. Like maybe it's network based. Like as soon as you create a network, the network basically becomes homogenized. Like you think of cultures, like as soon as memes are allowed to interact, they basically like homogenize into a certain culture. It's not until you put up barriers. Like and the reason why we have different we kind of less and less these days, but the reason we had different cultures was purely based on geographics. Like the reason Japan is like Japan and nothing like Australia is because of oceans.
Really far away.
But these days it's like it's not happening like that. And then you wonder like if you move that into the computational space, it's like we very, very quickly, like there was like, think of how little time there was between when computers were just boxes in a room to when computers were suddenly like interconnected into a global web.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Versus comparing that to like how long were humans on little isolated continents and little isolated pockets that couldn't communicate with each other, where cultures were allowed to evolve in various unique ways to, it must have taken tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years for it to get to a point where it's like, okay, now we're all like in a global culture. And I think that could also be explaining why the culture wars today. It's like we've gone from a diverse set of cultures where people have different ideas and different philosophies and all sorts of different behaviors and stuff, and now we're like forcing everyone has to think the same, everyone has to believe the same things, everyone has to like be exactly the same, because we're all homogenizing to a single network,
single global hive.
Yeah, and we need to like fight back against that somehow, so that we can maintain diverse fractal pathways.
Maybe it will become geography based again, say like, getting out to Mars and to other planets, or say going further out, like say being a femto civilization, going out to other stars and going further out. Because I mean,
or in.
or further in. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So it's kind of, because then at least that gives you that barrier where you can't, when the cost of interacting is still so stupidly high. Because I guess even back in the early days of civilization, there was still some interaction, but the cost was just absurd. That's why, like, say, even within, say, like Europe, right? All different cultures popped up. Sure, they could go and visit each other, but it was really fucking expensive to do that. Like, not just in resources, but also like, in risk, and getting there was, fraught with danger. So by having the different planets, or going super inwards, like, femto style and all of that, the cost becomes massive. And so we'll start seeing more culture. So there you go. The more you reduce the cost of people interacting, the more homogenous a culture becomes. Whereas you increase the cost of cultures interacting, they actually develop their own things.
Okay, so
my new theory.
So we need to put out little membranes that are hard to cross.
Yeah, exactly. If we want to encourage new culture to emerge, in a space, you make it really hard to cross a bridge.
Burn some digital bridges.
Yeah. Make everyone go through like an obstacle course to actually go and interact with a certain group. There you go. You can even just do it within a country. Just, full on like burning like towers of fire and stuff and alligators and all this shit. You want to trade with us? You better make sure it's worth it.
Like, I guess that kind of links back to China then.
Well, yeah, that's actually a good point.
Yeah. They're like a little isolated country.
Yeah,
and they've got a little isolated culture because we don't really, Westerners don't really understand it. Like, I wonder about that as well. Like, do people in China like genuinely like the idea of the social credit system? Like, and maybe in the West we're just being told it's like an evil thing, or are they actually indoctrinated into thinking they like it, or is it something going on that's just hard to articulate?
Yeah, I want to find out. I really need to talk to someone who's actually knows what it's all about. Actually lived in the system. I don't want to read about it because, it's all filtered. Chatting to a whole bunch of people would be good.
I have heard something. I think Daniel Schmachtenberger says some interesting stuff about this. It's almost like at this point in history, we're kind of seeing like two forces that are vying for how to do governance. So you've got essentially like the AI driven authoritarian government model, and you've got the individual freedom, but it's like basically like a corporatocracy. Like in the West, basically, like we don't have any government structures anymore. We're basically run by corporations for profit. And then in the East, they've got the kind of things are working. And the weird thing, like I almost think that like just because China can do long-term planning and do like 50-year projects, like I think China is going to win just on that model, which means therefore the AI managed authoritarian structure is probably going to win because the corporatocracy one is more about like squeeze the citizens until there's nothing left. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you can get rid of a lot of the big negatives that happen in the more corporatocracy type things where, you have all the companies like focusing all of your attention on really unproductive tasks. You have like, the best minds trying to get you to click and like and all of that, or playing computer games and,
buy NFTs.
And it's like,
sorry, I had to get an NFT jab in on the topic of decentralization. They're useful for some things, but generally, no.
Yes. It's very interesting right now. Cool. Oh, well, should we leave it there?
Sure. Did we miss anything? We went
all around.
I think we went positive, then we went negative, then we went positive, and then we went negative. Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. Oh, well, we'll catch you guys next time.
See yous.
Bye.